I treat Street Fighter like I treat spades, man. Like, you do not want to see.
Wow.
Oh, why your sword so big? Damn, man, you're doing damage.
Growing up, you know, an anime fan in general, Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. And don't laugh at me about Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon shit.
Ladies and fellasmen, welcome to the next episode of Otaku Talk. I'm joined by a very special guest, Nick Jones Jr., who is the writer of the Netflix anime YASUKE. I'm very, very happy to have him here. And we're also joined by my co-host, Dr. Dexter Thomas Jr. How you guys doing?
It was good.
Happy beer. Let's do it.
I binged the whole show yesterday and a little bit of this morning. This isn't just because you're here, but like the show grabbed me. So like I jumped in, I was stuck until I watched the whole thing. It was 6 episodes, an amazing journey. What sort of influenced the series for you? What was sort of the inspiration for YASUKE?
You know, I'd say it's a bunch of things. I mean, growing up, you know, an anime fan in general, you know, I kind of pulled on stuff like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, and don't laugh at me about Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon's the shit.
Hold on, Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon. Okay, really? You were watching Sailor Moon?
Hey, no shame.
No, none.
And also too, like pulling from some like cult classics of my favorite, like the Golden Child, the black man, you know, protecting the chosen child. And some Rambo vibes too, when he's like he's a boatsman in Taiwan or someplace.
So you just grabbed a little something from everywhere.
One of the things that hit me, so I'm gonna have to come at it, you know, from a little bit of a history perspective, because you've got a historical figure, right, who's somebody that people may or may not know existed. I mean, this is like, you know, making a drama that includes George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Soldier of Truth, and all these other figures, right? So people take this seriously. Mm-hmm. In YASUKE, Nobunaga really, for me, comes off as a very, you know, very sympathetic, very sort of, you know, progressive character. Whereas I think a lot of Japanese people would see this, and, you know, they split on it. There's people who think this is a great guy. There's people who think, yo, this is a maniacal warlord. Yeah. Right? Mm. How do you take that historical figure and decide where to place him in the world of YASUKE?
It's an interesting question, mainly because obviously us, you know, being people of color, being black men, you know, we kind of have to do that a lot with a lot of different historical figures, you know, especially when you talk about America, and it's just like, oh, you know, our founding fathers, and Barack Obama being a huge, you know, influence and hero of mine, but he would always refer to like the founding fathers, but it's just like, man, but they owned slaves.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When it came specifically to Nobunaga, I focused on just the military mind, and him being just like a master tactician. He was the first cat that literally brought a gun to a sword fight. You know, like those were the things that he was doing, and he was very progressive. And then, you know, obviously, bringing YASUKE into the fold, he was for being like, hey, look, I don't care that you black, can you do the job? And that's how I interpret it. I interpreted it as, you know, he was just like, yo, I don't care, like, can you fight?
Right.
Word.
Yeah.
And so the and so the line, episode 2, the old way, and he's giving a toast, and he's like, you know, a better Japan, a greater Japan, to do whatever you want with whomever you want, you know. And so, but then that is followed up with another character kind of come up to YASUKE and telling him, hey, look, you know, he treats you better than his own sons, you know, and it's like, you know, servants will always be servants. That is our way, the old way. And YASUKE tells him maybe the old way should be left in the past. And so for me, it's all about moving forward and moving past the prejudices, and, you know, and the boxes and the racisms that, you know, have plagued pretty much all societies.
All right, and we are jumping in to Guilty Gear Strive with my boy Nick Jones Jr. You created YASUKE. Can you replicate the skills that YASUKE displayed in a fighting game? That's what I'm curious about.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take you down memory lane. We're gonna start with Gundam. God. We're gonna do a little Dragon Ball Z, 2. You definitely don't want to see me in Gundam Battle Assault.
Wow.
Definitely don't want to see me in Marvel Super Hero vs. Street Fighter, because I'm a Capcom.
You have these games chilling in front of you, man. God.
You definitely don't want to see me in Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. look, me and Ryu, we undefeated. Like,
Listen,
I treat Street Fighter like I treat spades, man. Like, you do not want to see.
Listen, okay, all right. I don't have a physical copy of Dragon Ball FighterZ in front of me, but you definitely don't want to see me in Dragon Ball FighterZ. I don't have Xenoverse 2 in front of me, etc., etc. But all of my games aside, we're jumping into Uncharted territory because both of us aren't really Guilty Gear Strive players, so we're gonna have to see how this shapes up. Let's go.
I'm looking forward to this.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm not sure who to put my money on. Not that I'm a gambling man.
That Street Fighter knowledge might help out. I chose and look at see. Does this give you Yasuke
Hey,
vibes?
hey,
Look at
this
dude.
is the way of the samurai right here, baby.
This is a big dude. Look at me. I got yellow drip on. Look at me. I got tight pants. Let's go.
The heart in the back with the Kokoro character. I see you.
What that mean? I'm a knightless.
Your character is so stoic. I can't help but feel intimidated, but let's see what we can do here. Let's see. Duel 1. All right, we're gonna start out with some defense wins championships. Hold all that. Oh, you got some speed.
Okay.
Okay.
I see you both still figuring out the things, figuring out the moves.
Okay.
Nick with the counter. Okay, I see you.
Okay, that's what you want to do?
Okay.
That's what you want to do?
Ooh, what is this?
Oh, that's the new sword I got, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, defense wins
Okay, now you got the
championships.
blood red. I don't even know what's
whoa,
going
whoa,
on.
whoa,
You got
whoa.
the red sword.
Okay. Ooh. God, getting in there is what's
Game
difficult
time.
right now. Okay. No, I'm blocking that. Come on now.
Oh, okay, you blocked that?
I got some projectiles. All right, let's get some space. Projectile.
Okay.
Zone.
Yo.
We're gonna zone a little bit.
See, now the attack
Why
is
your
coming.
sword so big? Oh,
Yeah.
the
Yo,
grab.
on the
How do you
edge.
grab? That's just round 1. Relax over there. I see you smiling. Don't take a bow yet. I'm about to get back up.
Oh man, that's the.
Up with
Hey,
a
man,
new
you know
look
what
in
I'm saying?
my
I'm
eye.
showing you respect. I gotta go down here and pray for you.
Okay. I wish I knew what I was. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah. Oh shit. All right.
Coming through with the combos. Okay, he's starting to learn.
Okay. I'm learning a little
Dion's
something.
starting to pick it
I
up.
gotta ask, how do you think they did with Nagoriyuki, man? In terms of, I know it wasn't a direct Yasuke, but are you getting Yasuke vibes from the guy? I mean, other than the fact that he's laid out right now.
He's a little slow, but I am getting Yasuke vibes.
Yeah, this is definitely not how I would view Yasuke fighting. Yasuke's way faster in the anime.
He's a bit of a brute.
Oh, I see you waiting for me to go over there. I'll go over there now. Don't even worry about it. Ooh.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh!
Oh,
God, if I
that
could
was
just remember.
clean.
Oh, so you remembered something? No!
Yo,
Your sword
I
is
saw
so
that
big.
coming.
God, I
gotta see I saw that coming.
Listen. You know, I'll hand you one win just so you can, feel. Look, if I remembered that one combo, bro, it would have been a different story. You can smile all you want, Yasuke, but next round.
Refine your skill.
Okay, all right.
Relying too much on your strength.
Do you have any idea of what impact this might potentially have on the Japanese culture as it pertains to race? I think in the US it's almost normalized to talk about race. What type of impact do you think that this will have, and did you have an intended impact?
My intended impact and what I thought the impact would be is I would start a conversation, and a good example is when The Watchmen came out, the television series on HBO,
right.
And it opens with the scene in Tulsa, and there are people, mainly white, that were going on Twitter and everywhere is this real? Did this really happen? And it's just yeah,
right.
You never heard of the Tulsa massacre? They bombed
yeah.
Black Wall Street. What do you mean? But I knew that because that's our history. But there were a lot of white
right.
people and a lot of other people that didn't know. They were just they were
mm-hmm.
Being introduced to that for the first time. I mean, and there's a lot of black people who didn't even know Yasuke was a real person. People are wait, that a real
right.
black dude.
Yeah,
was
no,
a
I got
samurai.
hip on it right when I saw the show. That's what opened my I didn't know about that. It's based off of real
dude
stuff. I mean, obviously you didn't have robots,
I know.
And, all that cool. But
yeah,
that was that anime flavor that that it needed. I think it definitely served its purpose as a show when it makes the viewer want to dive deeper into that universe because it is a part of our real history.
I remember seeing a couple things come out, and people being black people trying to, take something and insert themselves in Japanese history and
Yeah.
and it's just we was actually there. Black dude was, out there doing his thing, and so I think it's good to be able to kind of bring light to that, and just inform people on the contributions of men that look like me.
That was one thing that I found really interesting about from a writer's standpoint, right? Because I think the automatic assumption, if we think of a black person at any time before 1865, right, is that, okay, it's a black person, they're a slave. But
or they're in Africa.
Right. Yeah. The word that you use is servant.
Yeah. And so I actually use, there's one character that says slave.
Right.
In episode 2 as well, the Iga clan, he was wilding out. And so, I wanted him to use it, but everyone else, like, I felt like there was like this,
he got handled.
Yeah. And so for me, it was more about just like the class system, that they were in. So there's like, obviously Yasuke is kind of walking. He's walking with royalty at this point. And so for me, I felt like it just felt more dignified, like people like Nobunaga and Mitsuhide, everyone in that camp would use servant. And so I was just like, all right, I feel like servant just feels a little more like, like you said, nuanced.
Nobunaga gave him money.
Yeah.
Paid him a lot of money. Like historical records paid him a bunch of money.
Money, gave him land. He was a free dude. He was just out here chilling. And then he was like, when I need you, like, show up, pull up when I need you.
Right.
And Yasuke would pull up. For me, it was, it's all about, just changing the narrative. I think, we have, there's so many, like, visual representations of us as slaves and in chains and things of that nature. We wanted to do something a little bit different, and really show kind of like a rise as opposed to a fall of a black man at that time.
I gotta bring up the Catholic priest guy, man. I gotta bring him up.
Abraham.
Abraham
was fun.
What was kind of the inspiration behind this priest? Because one, he was a freak. He was. I didn't like him in a good way. Like, he was a good villain, but like, I didn't like him. You know what I mean?
Well, he's inspired by history. The Catholic Church was spreading in Asia around that time heavily, especially in Japan. That's how Yasuke was brought there. He's brought there by Jesuit priests. He was there on a mission to spread Catholicism. They were actually banished.
Yeah. Oh, they chased them out. Yeah. Chased them out, burned everything down. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. So Abraham's, he's based in, just in the historical facts of like the Catholic Church kind of coming there and trying to do their thing, and then eventually just being like pushed out because, people, they were like, yo, like, you're not good for us. We're not feeling you. And they banished them.
Right.
And so for me, I wanted to do like a flip on that. And you've got this Catholic priest who's actually trying to take over the Catholic Church. And so that's his whole journey. And so he's here to find the kid, that's going to give him like the power, to go back to, to take over the church. He's a bad guy, but he's kind of not our bad guy. He just wants the kid so he can go do his thing. He's just like, yo, man, I don't even care about Japan. I'm trying to get back and take over the Catholic Church. So like, that's his thing.
He ended up with a cross through his chest.
Yeah, I know, right?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Oh yeah, spoiler alert! My bad. Go check out Yasuke right now. Go
pause the video, watch it. We'll be here when you come back. I know you're probably getting Yasuke vibes, and maybe there was some of that in there that the designers were thinking about. But the thing is, Nagoriyuki is actually, I'm pretty sure it's a reference to a song that came out in 1974. It's about watching your lover leave Tokyo as the snow falls. So it's real poetic.
That's interesting. I mean, the one thing that I can think about from that, and I'm not saying it's a direct reference by any means, I don't want to spoil it though. A certain topic about, Yasuke and maybe a girl, and what I'm saying, that, that kind of left him in a way, kind of.
Okay, there's definitely some romance in Yasuke, that's true.
Yeah, you got to come close. You got to come over here. Come on over here.
Bro, what do you mean come over there? You got shadow clones going crazy, man. I can't.
You just got chopped in half by a very sweet song about leaving your lover in Tokyo, bro.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm feeling really emotional about it right now, too.
Yeah, come on over here. Yeah.
No, I'm over here now, huh?
Okay, you're starting to pick it up.
God, if I could just remember how to do these
This is why I want you. This is why I want you, baby. This is why I want you.
You getting pushed in the corner, man. Ooh.
Oh, yeah,
this is where you are. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm right here.
You got lucky.
Okay, I got lucky. You lucky we ain't looking at Goku and Vegeta flying around on the screen because you be going through it. Hey, what's crazy is that lowers your health, so let's go.
Damn. Ooh. That did lower my health.
Did you know it lowers your health when you did it?
I did not know.
Obviously, there are, shall we say, unfortunate depictions of black people in Japanese anime all the time, right? Yeah. We don't got to get into that. Yeah. But there's a flip side of that, which is where, I mean, you could look at the OG, right? You could look at Osamu Tezuka, you know what I'm saying? You could look at Lupin the Third. You look at a little bit of Golgo, where there would be these storylines where there's this suspicion of the white outsider, but then there's a black outsider who's just, hey, maybe this guy's our friend.
Yeah, there's actually a battle that took place during World War II. It's the Battle of Bamber Bridge, if I remember correctly. And so obviously racism in the U.S., black troops are in Europe, along with white troops, segregation obviously back here in the States. And a lot of that followed the military as well. And so you've got these black troops and white troops stationed in this small village in Europe, and they trying to like create it like it is back in America. There's like, hey, look, black people, the black troops, they can't come in here and eat with us, they can't drink with us, they can't do this, do that. And it's just a great example of how of really showcasing how like racism is, you're not born racist, like you learn it. Because these villagers in Europe during World War II, they're just like, yo, like, what do you mean? We like that. We like partying with the black troops. We like going to church with the black troops. So then the villagers put up the signs, but they say black troops only, not, so they did a reverse. So they didn't do the like whites only, they did black troops only. And so then there was like a literally like a civil war between the white troops and the black troops in this small town in Europe during World War II. And so, I look at, moments like that in history that really inspire me to kind of, show that, hey, like there are people that, that fucked with us. And it's more learned behavior than anything else. And it's just like, and if it's learned, that means you can learn something else.
I couldn't help but thinking of a lot of characters watching YASUKE, and one that really jumped out to me, I don't know if you've played this game, but Kratos from God of War.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Kratos from God of War, especially the most recent one, because he has like his son Atreus with him. Yeah. And that dynamic sort of reminded me of YASUKE and Saki, walking together and, traveling together. And even his personality, like Kratos and YASUKE, they're like so stoic, they're so cool, but like they can really turn up when it comes to like fighting and stuff like that. And they're both like haunted by their memories. They have like these tragic, things that cut away, and they're just haunted by it every single day. And again, I'm not trying to like force this comparison on you, but I couldn't help being a big God of War fan. Just watching, I was like, oh man, this is like Black Kratos, man. I'm in heaven, man. This is so dope, man.
No, I mean, I like that one. For me, it was a lot of Lone Wolf and Cub. That was the one for me. That was like, but they all draw parallels to one another.
You brought up the racism within the military, right? During World War II, and I mean, you're somebody with military background yourself, right? Yep. Writing, essentially, now it's in different contexts, but you're writing a lone black soldier in a squadron, in a group full of people that don't look anything like him. There must have been something that you're pulling from in there. I'm wondering if that came from any personal experience, if you're thinking about that as you're writing this character.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been the only black person in a lot of rooms, a lot of spaces. So,
same.
That's just life. I think that's what makes the character so relatable to like people like us. It's just like we've lived it. So we know what that's like. Right. We've been in a situation where you got to like move in a space with cats that may not have.
You got to move a certain way.
You got to move a certain way. You got a code switch. In a lot of places too. And you've got an individual like YASUKE who's learning the customs and courtesies of an entirely different culture. But there's still things from his personal life and culture that he still brings out. Even though he's a samurai. He talks about, how like where he's from, every man and every child cares for every child. I mean, every man and every woman, cares for every child. And for me, that was like my, because I wasn't sure if there was like a proverb for it. I'm pretty sure there is one, but that was like my way of paying respect to that, to how we as we from the motherland, like we take care of one another, and how the tribes work, and how everyone's just kind of a part of one family.
There's this moment in later on where I think Nikita, right, the Russian woman,
Talking about Charney, when she calls him Charney.
Not just that. So she calls him that.
Yeah.
And then in Japanese, when she kind of has accepted him and they're kind of, okay, you're cool, she calls him Kokujin-san, which Kokujin is just black person. San it's honorific. But there's something about the way that sounds where when somebody says that to you, it's just, I know you think you're being polite, but that actually, it rubs me the wrong way. It's kind of condescending. And there's something about Yasuke's look where he's just, you know exactly what Yasuke's thinking right now.
Yeah.
Because this lady just said something to him and he's holding himself back and you can see it in his face.
I think it's very similar to like when Black Panther came out and like everybody's running around, saying Wakanda forever and stuff. And right. I remember, just random white people would come up to me and they'd be like, oh yeah, Wakanda forever. I'm like,
no.
I know you trying.
This is why you don't go outside, bro. This is why you can't go outside.
I know you trying.
Wakanda, right, brother?
It's not for you. So it's kind of similar to that. It's just like, obviously they start out as foes, and then they kind of have this moment where they're allies, and she tries to like make a connection to that, and she just totally misses the mark. But it's just like Yasuke's just like, I get it.
I see what you're doing. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, but
please don't do that
cringeworthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The robot, Haruto, I believe his name was. Yeah. Hilarious character to me. Like that was I had the most laughs throughout the series whenever he was on screen. Just his random, especially so we both come from different perspectives. I watched it the English dub. Dex watched it in Japanese, so like we both have seen both perspectives. Yeah. But in the English dub, he was just hilarious to me. I don't know what it is, just like, oh, you are black. Like, I don't know what it was about it. It was just like the delivery and everything like that.
Oh, when he says,
like, were you trying to
are
add
you relatives?
comic value? Yeah, exactly. Were you trying to add like sort of comedic value in there? Because I know you mentioned Dragon Ball being not a direct inspiration, but like, Dragon Ball was like an early anime that you watched and stuff like that. Did you want to add like little aspects of comedy side by side with the action, so it's not just straight action, or was that a goal when you were writing?
And so and a lot of that's obviously notes that you get from the studio and things like that, because they don't want it to be too dire and
yeah.
And so we are doing something that's fun and entertaining and stuff. So for Haruto was basically like, okay, I'm gonna try and mime some comedy out of him and stuff.
Just having, because you mentioned all these anime, but the one commonality that they all have, or at least the majority, is, like you said, we don't see ourselves. So to finally have like that sort of protagonist character who's just like really dope. By the way, some of these fight scenes, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I would not mind seeing a game with just Yasuke, like a Yasuke game. Like some of these fights that happen, I was like, okay, that could be a boss fight, because I come from, you know what I mean? Like I could see certain boss fights and then, big horde battles and stuff like that. Like I don't know what's going on in the background, but if you were to like, slide me some information that a Yasuke game would exist,
we do.
I'd be all right with
it. Doing everything else. I mean, we got toys coming out. We got a manga dropping. So.
Okay.
Who knows? Could be a video game too.
Speaking of video games, I think later we're going to be jumping into Guilty Gear Strive, that has a character that looks very similar to Yasuke, named Nagoriyuki. He's a black samurai, huge, like a beast. And I definitely, like, after seeing Yasuke, because I played Guilty Gear Strive before, but after seeing this, I'm like heavily inspired to like main that character and like learn all the combo routes and all of that stuff. Like I need to play that character now. So I appreciate the inspiration from Yasuke, man.
Appreciate you,
Nick. So I want to throw, quote unquote, the hard question at you, right? So after watching the anime, right, obviously you get online, you look at what people are talking about it. I think the biggest criticism that I've seen is that people came in expecting history and they came in and I think maybe the biggest criticism that I've seen is that people want to know more about Yasuke.
Yeah.
Like, where's all the Yasuke? It's called Yasuke. Where's the Yasuke, right? As a creator, as a writer who put the 6 episodes out there, how do you process that feedback?
I mean, all you can do is obviously hear it, understand it, but just know that the not the target, but like, you know, the process and the goal of what we were trying to do was
right.
You know, have something that touched on this particular character, but and using history as kind of like a springboard, but obviously telling something, you know, telling a more fantastical story. And so for me, you know, when I came on board, you know, we kind of had this, you know, the idea was like, hey, you know, there's Yasuke and there's this young child that's the chosen one, and it's years pass after he's, you know, done his thing, and I'm just like, well, you know, if we're going to tell a story about the first Black samurai, then we should see him as a samurai. And so being able to kind of like sprinkle that, you know, the stuff that people, you know, the ones that, you know, that are complaining, saying, well, we wanted more Yasuke. Well, you know, but we're trying to service two different storylines.
Right.
And so it's like, I always look at it as a good thing, you know, when people are like, they want more of something, as opposed to, you know, saying that they didn't want, like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm out.
Right.
On one hand, it's cool because it's like, all right, you know, people care. You know, people care. They care enough to have an opinion. You know, I'm out there, you know, I've seen some of the videos on YouTube and the reaction videos from the trailers to, you know, to episode breakdowns and stuff. And it's cool. It's cool to see, like, you know, cats react and respond to the stuff that they like and love, and, you know, and catching some of the nuances of the character development, things of that nature. But, you know, it's you gotta, you know, you take the good with the criticism. Like, I'm a huge Jay-Z fan, but, you know, every album that Jay-Z drops, there's kind of like a gauge of like, okay, 70% of the songs I like. There are a couple tracks on there that I'm like, I'm not feeling, you know, and then those 30% you didn't like, somebody else like loved those 30%. Someone else loved, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's just all about being able to, you know, really have something out there for everybody. I don't know if you can spoil anything, but are we going to see more? You know, there's red dots from Netflix, you know, pointed at me right now. So, okay. I will take that as an answer. Obviously, this is very different from Yasuke because this is like a vampire samurai.
They're just both black samurais, right?
Yeah. So it's just, there's something in the water, man. I feel like, Nick, you're just tapping into something that's just out there in the atmosphere.
See, I don't got a black character here, but but I got an alt costume that makes him appear to me.
See, he did. Oh man, you're doing that one that hurts you, but if you can catch him with it,
damn man, you're doing damage.
See, and that's the thing. You didn't really do the damage when you had that red sword on, but you.
I know, yeah. I got one lit in.
Counter, man. That blade is a problem. Oh, I messed up. That's the counter. I mean, that's the grab, I guess. All I have is gun flame. God, I messed up the input.
Why are you doing this again?
Nah, because he has low health anyway. He has low health. I think that's the smartest time to do it. Like, when you're one hit away anyway.
Automatically. He's doing it.
It's like, oh, he does it by himself?
Yeah, he's doing it automatically.
Oh, okay. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I'm happy. All right, let's go.
I think it's like when he gets enough blood on his sword, he does it.
Yeah! Listen. Yeah!
It took like half my life.
Hold on, just take. Listen. It's fine. You know, look at me real quick. Let me just bow right back at you. Gaming While Black is powered by Doritos Solid Black Initiative. Shout out to Doritos for backing the show. All right, ladies and fellas, man, thank you so much for watching this episode of Otaku Talk, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for so much more of this in the future. While you're at it, check us out on Instagram and Twitter at GWB Show. I better see you over there.